All new! The Revolt of the Apes, the most awesome spectacle in the annals of science fiction. Conquest of the Planet of the Apes. Just like what Cornelius said in Escape from the Planet of the Apes, all the dogs and cats are wiped out, and in the long distant future of 31 years ago, 19 years in the future from when this film was released, humanity has taken apes as their new pets and servants, forcing chimpanzees into green, gorillas in red, and orangutans in yellow. Seems a bit early for all the apes to be humanoid, especially since Cornelius said this took centuries. And going by the Dog and Cat Memorial, it's apparently been 8 years since this, so that's some pretty good domestication. But whatever. Meanwhile, Ricardo Montalban and Milo, renamed Caesar, now all grown up and played by Roddy McDowall, are in town handing out flyers for a circus, instead of just getting some teenage interns to hand them out, like normal people. But still, Ricardo recounts what Cornelius said in the last film, and we're off. Apparently the only thing humans really do anymore is train people to beat the brown people who do all their hard labor, which sounds about right. Caesar speaks out against this injustice, but apes aren't supposed to talk, so Ricardo tries to take the blame, but of course Mexican-American Ricardo Montalban is not the same thing as British-American Roddy McDowall, so Caesar gets taken in. But then the pigs see another brown thing to start beating. So Caesar and Ricardo escape. But Ricardo still has to go to the governor for questioning. So the governor questions him, and it's clear that he's pro-slavery. Ooh, awkward! Dude, he's in the same office as you. What the hell? They don't really learn anything from Ricardo, so they keep him for further questioning. Meanwhile, Caesar's taken through the processing plant, where they beat the apes, toss them into a big room with a disco ball, and shoot fire at them for bananas. Then we actually see Aldo the gorilla. The ape said no. Well, that was fun. Caesar's stealing your destiny, loser. Spoke too soon because Caesar's up for bid, and the governor buys him. Oh, and by the way, the black guy from earlier, his name is McDonald. They didn't use the truth beam on Ricardo. They just have this because shut up. And they forgot to strap him down, so Ricardo just yeets himself out the window. To his death. Caesar is not happy about this. So make way, start a revolution. Make way, we're gonna have fun tonight. Make way, start a revolution. Let loose, everything be alright. Here we go. Here we go again. The clock spins, the roof is down tonight. I'm done with living in the shadows of hate and fear all the time. But the governor doesn't like that song, and he sees that all the apes are uppity. And then the governor realizes in his shipment of orangutans, he received one chimpanzee more than he ordered. So he puts two and two together and starts thinking that Caesar is the talking ape. So he gets McDonald to try and rat him out. But McDonald decides to have a heel turn because he doesn't like the governor. So Caesar talks to McDonald, and he basically just blatantly states that the theme of the movie is racism. And McDonald, of all people, should understand that an oppressed minority, while in power, should help others. So McDonald helps him escape. Caesar's immediately captured and shock therapy, until he's forced to say a word, proving to everyone that he is intelligent. But McDonald helps him out again by turning off the shocks, and the people are too stupid to check. So they think they fried Caesar, but luckily he survived and escaped, and the revolution is on. Ah yeah! Break the chains of oppression for the people! A lot of the revolution parts in this movie were inspired by the Watts riots in LA, the OG LA riots. These scenes were pretty violent for the time, so the movie almost got an R rating, but they agreed to trim it down a little to a PG. Remember, this was back before PG-13 existed, making it the only film in the series not rated G. And this is back when people remembered that PG stands for parental guidance, and is different from G for a good reason. Unlike today, when people are too embarrassed to make G-rated movies, so have some inappropriate scenes so they can bump it up to a PG, for no real good reason. This revolution is well edited and looks great, even though it's obvious they have to censor it. It's full of absolute carnage for 5 entire minutes, which is pretty long, but still. The apes get to the compound, and they manage to get through the doors.
How? They don't have the could they cut the power, man?
Caesar remembers and spares McDonald. The governor gives a speech about the downfall of man, and then Caesar gives his own speech about the downfall of man, and readies the gorillas to beat him to death. But then one of the chimpanzees actually starts speaking and says no. So Caesar rethinks his idea and gives a speech promoting hope for equality. Unlike in the original ending where he did have the governor beat to death by the gorillas with the butts of their guns, symbolizing the cycle of hatred and abuse. But it was changed to be a little more uplifting, and it's pretty obvious seeing the gorillas played in reverse looking like they're lowering their guns, and a lot of the second speech being nothing but stock footage, especially of Roddy McDowall's eyes, so you don't see his mouth moving, and the girl chimp saying no was added later. Final body count. 59. Holy shit! That's pretty impressive for a non-horror movie. Overall, this movie's great. The character of Caesar is fantastic. Someone who started off as good and then turned to violence because of his mistreatment and the mistreatment of his others. Kind of like IDW Megatron. And yes, just like Caesar in the Rise of the Planet of the Apes trilogy, but under different circumstances, different, universe, different time era, and different, basically everything. But those are a trilogy of films for another time. The acting's pretty good all around. The sets are great. Even with the tiny budget, the apes look good. The theme about racism, standing up for yourself, and standing up for people in similar situations of you still stays relevant and is very well handled. And works with the theme of the franchise of the cycle continuing. Overall, I'll highly recommend this film. Now there's only one more movie to review in the original series. And then the TV series. And the cartoon. And then the Rise trilogy. My work is never done.